Who was Job in the Bible? Who was Job in the Bible? Job is a central figure in the Hebrew Bible, known for his unwavering faith and resilience in the face of immense suffering. Often considered a prophet, Job's story is found in the Book of Job, a part of both the Masoretic text and the Septuagint. The Book of Job explores complex themes of human suffering, the nature of God, and the relationship between God and humanity. The story revolves around Job, a wealthy man who is described as blameless and God-fearing. When the adversary, commonly identified as Satan, challenges Job's faith, claiming that he is devoted to God only because of his wealth and prosperity, God allows Job to be tested. The Book of Job then recounts the tragic events that befall Job, including the deaths of his family members and the loss of his wealth, as well as the intervention of his friends who debate the meaning and purpose of his suffering. Who was Job in the Bible? Here is a set of bullet points about Job in the Bible. Job was a man who lived in the land of Uz. The Bible describes him as blameless, upright, fearing God, and turning away from evil. Job was extremely wealthy, with thousands of animals and servants. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. God holds up Job as an example of a righteous man to sad end. Satan argues that Job only worships God because of the blessings God has given him. God allows Satan to take away all of Job's possessions, kill his children, and afflict Job with painful boils from head to toe. However, Job remains faithful to God. Job's wife tells him to curse God and die, but Job refuses. He sits in ashes and laments his fate but does not curse God. 3 of Job's friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, come to comfort him but end up accusing him of hidden sins to explain his suffering. Job maintains his innocence. Elihu, a younger man, speaks up and says that God may bring suffering to turn man from wrongdoing. God then speaks to Job out of a whirlwind, questioning Job about his understanding of divine justice and wisdom. In the end, God restores Job's fortunes and family. He condemns the false arguments of Job's friends. Job repents in dust and ashes. Despite the severe challenges he faces, Job maintains his integrity and faith in God, engaging in further dialogues on the nature of God's justice and the existence of suffering. Ultimately, Job is restored to his former prosperity, paving the way for readers to derive valuable lessons and insights from his life. Key takeaways: Job is a God-fearing figure in the Hebrew Bible, renowned for his endurance amid immense suffering. The Book of Job delves into themes of human suffering, God's nature, and the relationship between God and mankind. Job's unyielding faith, despite severe trials, provides powerful lessons and insights for those who read his story. Job and his background: Job was a well-known character in the Bible, primarily mentioned in the Book of Job. He was a resident of the land of Uz and was considered the greatest man among his people. He was blessed with significant wealth, making him a prosperous and respected figure. Job had a large family, which included 7 sons and 3 daughters. They enjoyed a close-knit relationship and regularly gathered for feasting together, particularly during their birthdays. This demonstrates that Job was a loving father and maintained a good relationship with his children. Although Job wasn't an Israelite, his faith in God and exemplary character won him great favor. Amidst his success and fortunate life, he never lost sight of the importance of his faith. He consistently demonstrated righteousness and compassion, setting an excellent example for those around him. Job's wealth and fortune were demonstrated through his ownership of livestock, which included thousands of sheep, camels, oxen, and donkeys. This symbolized his status as a successful and rich man in his society. His material wealth, however, never clouded his devotion and piety. In summary, Job was a prosperous and prominent figure in the Bible, well known for his deep faith and righteousness. He balanced his impressive success with humility and maintained a strong connection to God and his family. Job's relationship with God. The biblical figure of Job is often described as a blameless and upright man. His story, as detailed in the Book of Job, highlights the relationship between a mortal and their deity, typified by Job's deep spirituality and hope. Living a devout life, Job was known for fearing God and avoiding evil, which brought about various blessings upon his life. Throughout the narrative, it becomes evident that Job's relationship with God revolves around trust and faith. Despite suffering great misfortunes and agonizing trials, he remained steadfast in his loyalty to God, refusing to curse or blame the divine. Consequently, his unwavering faith is eventually rewarded, as God restores Job's fortunes and blesses him with even greater prosperity than before. Job's story demonstrates that a genuine fear of God stems not from superficial obedience but from an intimate relationship with the Lord. This connection enables an individual to retain their faith and hope in the face of adversities, trusting that God will ultimately carry them through. In the Book of Job, we see a unique perspective on the divine-human relationship that transcends a traditional reward-punishment narrative. In conclusion, the Book of Job tells the story of a man whose devotion to God transcended his personal struggles. His fear of God and upright nature allowed him to maintain an unwavering belief, despite the immense challenges he faced. Job's relationship with God serves as an example for all, as it showcases the value of faith, hope, and steadfast loyalty in establishing a profound spiritual connection with one's deity. The adversary's challenge in the book of Job. The biblical character Job is a wealthy and righteous man who faces a series of devastating misfortunes. This narrative arises from a celestial encounter between God and Satan, known as the adversary in the Hebrew Bible. The story of Job begins with a description of his piety, wealth, and large family. He is said to be blameless and upright, consistently praising and worshiping God even in the face of adversity. The adversary's challenge commences when God addresses Satan, who had been roaming the earth, inquiring about Job's unwavering faith. However, Satan counters God's praise by asserting that Job is faithful only because he is protected and enjoys a prosperous life. He further alleges that Job would quickly curse God should he lose everything he possesses. Intrigued by the adversary's claim, God allows Satan to test Job's faith by granting him power over all of Job's earthly possessions, barring direct harm to Job himself. Father, grandfather, minister, missionary, deacon, elder, author, welcome to our family. View all posts.